Every night while you sleep, your body should be repairing and rebuilding muscle. But what if I told you the very way you're lying in bed could be doing the opposite? I've seen seniors wake up weaker, stiffer, and more fragile, and they blame it on aging, when in reality, it's a specific sleep position silently accelerating muscle loss. If you're over 60 and you want to stay strong, mobile, and independent, keep watching. This could be the most important change you make this year. You've been told that sleep is when the body heals, and that's absolutely true. But there's a missing piece almost no one talks about, and it's this. If you're over 60, the way you position your body while you sleep can directly impact how much muscle you keep or lose every single night. Here's why that matters. After 60, we all begin losing muscle, a process called sarcopenia. But what many seniors don't realize is that it's not just a daytime issue. Most of that muscle repair, growth, and preservation happens while you're asleep. During deep sleep stages, your brain releases human growth hormone, a critical chemical that helps rebuild muscle tissue and repair microscopic damage from the day. But here's the problem. If your sleep position disrupts blood flow to key muscle groups, especially in your legs, back, or hips, then that healing process gets interrupted. That's right. Your muscles aren't just passively waiting for nutrients to arrive. They depend on healthy, unrestricted circulation throughout the night. And if circulation is restricted, your muscle cells are left starving for oxygen and amino acids, night after night. Let me tell you about Ray. Ray was a 72-year-old former mail carrier, strong, active, proud of his independence. He came into my clinic complaining of waking up stiff every morning. I thought it was just arthritis, he said, but the scans told a different story. He was losing lean muscle at a rapid pace, especially in his legs and glutes. He wasn't sick, he wasn't inactive, but something was clearly wrong. After ruling out nutritional deficiencies, we looked at his sleep. And there it was. Ray had been sleeping in the fetal position every night for years. Legs pulled up, hips flexed, arms tucked in tight. It felt comfortable, until it didn't. That position, while cozy, was cutting off blood flow to his hip flexors, hamstrings, and even reducing lymphatic drainage from his lower legs. His muscles were literally being compressed and starved during the hours they were supposed to be recovering. The real danger? You don't feel it happening. You just wake up one day and realize the stairs feel harder. Your balance is off. Your arms look thinner. It's not sudden. It's cumulative. Tiny losses over months that add up to weakness, frailty, and eventually, a higher risk of falls and fractures. And here's where things get even more concerning. Poor sleep posture can also interfere with your breathing, especially if you're sleeping in a curled, slouched, or stomach-down position. When your diaphragm is compressed, oxygen intake drops, and when oxygen drops, muscle tissue suffers. Because your muscles are incredibly oxygen-hungry, especially during recovery. So if you're sleeping in a position that compresses your chest, hips, or limbs, you're not just robbing your muscles of nutrients, you're suffocating them, slowly. But here's the good news. Once you understand the science, you can change your sleep setup and stop muscle loss in its tracks. In the next section, I'll walk you through the worst sleep positions for seniors when it comes to circulation and muscle retention, and what to do instead. But first, I want you to check something. Tonight, when you lie down in bed, notice how your legs fall. Are your knees curled up tightly? Is your lower back twisted or hunched? Are your arms tucked under your pillow? These little habits may feel harmless, even comforting, but for your muscles, they're a nightly battle. Let's talk about the positions doing the most harm, the ones that feel safe, even familiar, but are quietly robbing seniors of muscle tone, strength, and stability. At the top of the list, sleeping curled in the fetal position. It's the go-to for comfort, especially if you have back pain or joint stiffness. But here's what it does behind the scenes. It rounds your spine, tightens your hip flexors, compresses your core muscles, and shortens the ligaments in your knees and hamstrings. If you stay in this position night after night, your muscles never get to fully lengthen, repair, and stretch. And when muscles don't lengthen, they shrink. Even worse, this position pulls your neck forward, compromising blood flow through the carotid arteries, and sometimes compressing nerves that control the shoulders and arms. That tingling in your hand when you wake up? That's not just poor circulation. It's a warning sign. A sign that your body is losing alignment, blood flow, and crucial muscle support. The second most problematic position? Sleeping on your stomach. It might help you fall asleep quickly, but your spine is in an unnatural curve. Your head is twisted to the side for hours. Your back muscles, neck muscles, and shoulders are all under stress. Worse, sleeping on your stomach compresses your abdominal organs and limits diaphragmatic breathing, reducing oxygen saturation, a crucial element for overnight muscle repair. Now let's look at side sleeping with the lower leg tucked high up toward the chest, a semi-twisted version of fetal sleep. It might feel like a relief for your back or hips, but that hip flexor is being locked into flexion for hours, causing muscle imbalance and tightness that carries into your daytime posture. Seniors who sleep this way often wake up with hip pain, sore knees, and that all-too-familiar feeling of being stiff, when in reality, the muscles are just shortened and weak from lack of overnight extension. Let me tell you about June. She's 75, retired from her career as a physical therapist. She always thought she was doing things right. She stretched during the day, walked daily, stayed active. But every morning she'd wake up with leg cramps and foot weakness that made it hard to get out of bed. She came to see me because she was worried it might be early neuropathy. But her labs were clean, her diet was solid, so we looked at her sleep. Turns out, June had been sleeping in a half-twist, one leg up, one arm under her head, shoulder pressed into the mattress. Her muscles weren't just compressed, they were being suffocated. Her glutes had weakened, her calves were undertoned, and her foot muscles, which need constant blood flow during sleep to maintain proper nerve signaling, were starved. The solution wasn't a pill, it was a posture correction. Within 3 weeks of switching her sleep setup, June reported better mobility in the morning, and her leg cramps were gone. Now don't panic if you recognize your sleep style in these descriptions. You're not alone, and you're not stuck. Most seniors never get told this. Doctors talk about cholesterol and blood sugar, but rarely about the pressure your own body puts on your muscles at night. The real issue isn't just one bad night, it's the accumulation. The weeks, months, and years of sleeping in positions that compress tissue, reduce circulation, and train your muscles into weakness. Sarcopenia doesn't just happen because you're aging. It accelerates when your muscles aren't given what they need, and proper sleep posture is one of the most overlooked ingredients. So, what should you do instead? In the next section, I'll guide you through the best sleep position for preserving muscle, and the small changes you can make tonight to radically improve circulation, flexibility, and strength while you sleep. No gadgets, no special beds, just smart alignment. Because here's the truth, muscle doesn't just grow in the gym, it grows in stillness. When your body is aligned, your blood is flowing, and your tissues can actually recover. And all of that depends on how you lie down tonight. Here it is, the sleep position I recommend to nearly every senior who walks into my office. Back sleeping with a slight bend in the knees and a neutral head position. Now before you say, "But I can't fall asleep that way," stay with me. This isn't about rigid rules. It's about giving your muscles the best possible environment to stay strong while you sleep. And that starts with posture that promotes full body circulation, spinal alignment, and oxygen flow, all night long. When you sleep on your back, your spine rests in a neutral curve. No twisting, no compressing. Your head, neck, and pelvis are in natural alignment. And when your knees are slightly elevated, with a pillow or small bolster, the pressure is taken off your lower back and hamstrings. This single adjustment allows your leg muscles to fully relax, expand, and receive blood flow uninterrupted. Blood flow is everything. Muscles aren't just sitting there waiting to be used. They're constantly healing, rebuilding, and recalibrating, especially overnight. But to do that, they need oxygen, nutrients, and hormonal signals. And those only arrive with smooth, unrestricted circulation. When your sleep position allows full blood flow to your glutes, thighs, calves, shoulders, and arms, your body treats the night as a healing session, not a shutdown. Let's talk about respiratory alignment for a second. When you lie on your back, your diaphragm moves freely. Your lungs expand fully. That means higher oxygen saturation throughout the night. And that oxygen? It feeds every single muscle fiber. Without it, you wake up sore, stiff, and weaker. With it, your muscles wake up refreshed. But I know what you're thinking. I try to sleep on my back, but I always roll over. That's okay. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to start on your back, set up your environment for success, and minimize the time spent in damaging postures. Here's how to do it. Use a low to mid pillow to support your neck, not just your head. You want your chin pointing slightly upward, not tucked. Add a soft pillow or bolster under your knees. This is the game changer. It relaxes the lower spine and opens up circulation to the legs. And if your arms tend to fall awkwardly, place a light pillow under each forearm to keep them in a relaxed, neutral position. If your mattress is too soft, it may be folding your body into poor alignment. If it's too firm, it may pressure your hips and shoulders. A medium firm mattress with a soft top layer often provides the best support for seniors who need joint cushioning without sinking. Let me introduce you to Barbara. She was 69, recovering from a knee replacement, and every morning she woke up feeling like her muscles had been wrung out. She thought it was the surgery. But during her follow-up, I asked her about her sleep. She said she curled up tight with a pillow between her knees, on her side, because it helped with the pain. What she didn't realize is that she was compressing her healing leg, cutting off circulation, and keeping her muscles in a shortened position for 7 to 8 hours a night. I worked with her to gently transition to back sleeping, starting with just 20 minutes each night. Within a week, her morning stiffness was cut in half. Within 3 weeks, she said it felt like her leg had finally begun to come back online. That's the power of positioning. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need awareness and small adjustments. So tonight, when you climb into bed, think of it like this. You're not just going to sleep. You're entering a 7-hour therapy session, and how you set yourself up determines whether your muscles rebuild or erode. In the next section, we'll look at something just as important as position, the hidden nighttime habits that sneakily sabotage your muscle recovery without you realizing it. You may think your sleep routine is harmless, brushing your teeth, reading a little, maybe a late-night snack. But some of the most common nighttime habits are quietly disrupting your body's ability to rebuild muscle. And for seniors, that disruption adds up fast. Let's start with something you've probably heard is healthy. Light snacking before bed. A piece of toast, a handful of crackers, maybe even a scoop of ice cream. You tell yourself it's small, it won't matter. But here's the catch. When you eat carbohydrates right before sleep, your body shifts focus from repair to digestion. Blood flow diverts from your muscles to your gut. Insulin spikes, and instead of releasing growth hormone, your body suppresses it. Growth hormone isn't just about kids growing taller. It's one of the main drivers of muscle maintenance and tissue repair in older adults. And guess when it's naturally released? Within the first 60 to 90 minutes of deep sleep, if your blood sugar is stable. When it's not, when your insulin is up, growth hormone takes a backseat, which means your body skips its most anabolic, muscle-repairing window of the night. Now think about screen time before bed. That glowing tablet or phone. It's not just messing with your eyes. It suppresses melatonin, your sleep hormone, which delays deep sleep. And without deep sleep, your muscles don't get their nightly repair orders. They stay inflamed, under-recovered, and more prone to breakdown. And then there's the subtle villain, dehydration. If you're like most seniors, you stop drinking water after dinner to avoid bathroom trips at night. That makes sense. But here's what's really happening. As you sleep, your blood volume drops, your circulation slows, and if your body is even mildly dehydrated, your muscles don't get the nutrient-rich blood flow they need. Your legs may cramp, your arms may go numb, and your muscle cells begin starving for oxygen. Now, let me tell you about Marvin. Marvin was 74, active during the day, but waking up every morning with tight calves and sore shoulders. He stretched. He changed his mattress. Nothing helped. It wasn't until we reviewed his routine that we found the problem. Marvin stopped drinking water at 6 p.m., scrolled his phone in bed for an hour, and had 2 slices of toast with jelly around 9:30 every night. To him, it was just routine. But physiologically, it was the perfect storm. His muscles were dehydrated, his hormones were misfiring, and his body was digesting sugar when it should have been repairing tissue. We made a few small changes. No snacks after 8, a glass of water before bed, and reading instead of screen time. Within 2 weeks, his stiffness improved. Within a month, he stopped waking up with muscle pain altogether. This is what so many people miss. It's not just what you do at the gym. It's what you do at night that determines how much muscle your body keeps. You can eat perfectly and exercise daily, but if your sleep habits are blocking hormone release, choking blood flow, and inflaming your system, you'll still lose strength. And here's one final habit that's sneaky but dangerous: sleeping in a cold room without proper muscle warmth. When your body temperature drops at night, which it naturally does, your muscles cool down too. And if your room is cold and you're not covered well, your muscles stay tense, not relaxed. That tension may not seem like a big deal, but it increases cortisol, the stress hormone, and decreases blood flow. If your shoulders or hips feel locked in the morning, this may be why. So what can you do? Because your body wants to heal. Your muscles are not giving up. They're just waiting for the right conditions to come back stronger. You don't need expensive supplements, a gym membership, or high-tech gadgets to protect your muscles. What you do need, especially after 60, is a consistent nighttime routine that gives your body what it actually needs to preserve and rebuild strength. So let's walk through what that looks like, step by step. It begins before your head hits the pillow. About 90 minutes before bed, you want to start slowing your body down, not ramping it up. That means no high-carb snacks. Instead, go for a light protein-based bite if you're hungry: a boiled egg, a spoonful of Greek yogurt, or a few almonds. Why? Because protein-rich snacks help trigger muscle repair without spiking blood sugar or insulin. And that's exactly what you want heading into sleep: stable blood sugar and low insulin to maximize growth hormone release. Next, hydration. Yes, you want to avoid getting up at night, but you also want to avoid waking up with dehydrated muscles. The sweet spot? About 6 to 8 ounces of water 30 to 60 minutes before bed. That small amount can help keep your blood volume stable and your circulation flowing without flooding your bladder. And for seniors on diuretics or blood pressure meds, this can make a huge difference in overnight muscle perfusion. Now let's talk about movement. Just a little. No cardio. No big stretches. Just 3 to 5 minutes of gentle mobility. Roll your shoulders. Swing your legs. March slowly in place. This primes your lymphatic system, the body's internal cleanup crew, and sends one final wave of oxygen and nutrients to your muscles before bed. Seniors who do this small habit report fewer nighttime cramps, less joint stiffness, and better quality sleep. Then we move to the sleep environment itself. Temperature matters. The ideal range is around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Cool enough to support melatonin production, but not so cold that your muscles tighten up. If you tend to get cold, use a heavier blanket or wear soft layers that keep your joints warm. Think of it like this: warm joints equal relaxed muscles, and relaxed muscles recover better. Next, light and sound. If your room isn't dark, your brain will resist falling into deep, restorative sleep, and that means less muscle repair. Consider blackout curtains or a soft eye mask. Silence is best, but if you live in a noisy environment, soft white noise can help. It signals the nervous system that it's safe to rest. But the most overlooked piece? The position you fall asleep in. As we discussed earlier, start on your back. Place a pillow under your knees and support your neck, not just your head. This creates spinal neutrality, decompresses your joints, and opens up circulation to your major muscle groups. You don't need to stay in this position all night. Just giving your body 1 to 2 uninterrupted hours of muscle-friendly positioning can begin reversing the overnight damage caused by years of poor posture. Let me share a quick story about Evelyn. She was 76, had survived breast cancer, and was determined to age with strength and dignity. But she kept waking up feeling deflated, like her muscles had given up overnight. She thought it was just part of getting older, but when we rebuilt her nighttime routine, stable protein snack, water before bed, a 5-minute mobility ritual, and a new sleep position, everything changed. Within 2 weeks, she was waking up without that heavy fatigue. Her morning walks got easier. Her grip strength improved. The only thing she changed was how she treated her body before and during sleep. Here's the truth. Your muscles are listening, even when you're asleep. They respond to circulation. They respond to alignment. They respond to hormones that are only released in darkness, silence, and stillness. So tonight, ask yourself, am I creating the environment where my muscles can grow? Or am I unknowingly suffocating them? Because recognizing the early signs gives you time to act. And the sooner you act, the more muscle you can preserve, or even regain. Muscle loss doesn't happen all at once. It happens silently, subtly, often while you sleep, until one day you notice the stairs feel harder, the floor feels farther away, or your balance just isn't what it used to be. But what if you could catch it before it gets that far? The truth is, your body gives you warning signs. You just have to know how to listen. And the most telling clues often show up first thing in the morning. Start with how you feel getting out of bed. Do you struggle to sit up? Do your arms feel weak, like they've lost their spring? That's not just fatigue. That's a possible sign that your muscles weren't recovering properly overnight. And if your legs feel like lead or your knees wobble as you stand, that's a red flag. One of the earliest signs of sleep-related muscle loss is morning muscle inertia. That heavy, sluggish feeling where your limbs don't want to move. It's not just sleepiness. It's poor muscle perfusion, meaning your muscles aren't receiving enough oxygen or nutrients while you sleep. Another early sign? Changes in grip strength. You might notice it when opening jars, holding a cup of coffee, or even brushing your teeth. If your hands feel weaker in the morning than they do in the afternoon, that's a signal your upper body muscles are not getting proper nighttime repair. Now, pay attention to posture. Are you waking up more hunched than usual? Is your spine rounding forward as you walk to the bathroom? That postural shift, especially in seniors, often reflects muscle groups that have weakened or shortened overnight, specifically your hip flexors, abdominals, and spinal stabilizers. All of these muscles rely on nighttime rest to repair and lengthen. And when that doesn't happen, you start folding forward. Let me tell you about Don. Don was 80, sharp as a tack, still drove himself to the grocery store and played cards every Tuesday. But one day, he tripped over his own foot getting out of bed. When I asked what happened, he said, "Doc, I just didn't lift my leg high enough." That single moment changed everything. He broke his hip, went through rehab, and lost nearly 15 pounds of lean muscle in just 8 weeks. But here's the thing. Don's fall wasn't random. In the months leading up to it, he'd been waking up with mild foot drop, occasional knee buckling, and general morning unsteadiness. He chalked it up to age, but it was his sleep. He had developed the habit of sleeping with one leg tucked tightly under the other, compressing his sciatic nerve and limiting blood flow to his lower limb. Night after night, that single position was quietly sabotaging his muscle signaling and recovery. Now I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this to empower you. Because once you spot these signs, you can do something about them. Keep an eye out for these early indicators. Waking up with noticeable weakness or imbalance, needing to grab furniture to steady yourself first thing in the morning. Joint stiffness that doesn't resolve within 15 minutes of being awake. Feeling off in your gait, like one leg is shorter or dragging. Numbness, tingling, or pins and needles in your hands or feet that started after sleep. Morning headaches that seem tied to poor sleep posture. And here's one more signal no one talks about. Emotional resilience. Yes, your mood. When your muscles don't recover overnight, your nervous system suffers. That can show up as irritability, low energy, or emotional fatigue that hits before breakfast. If you've been waking up more anxious, scattered, or easily frustrated, it might be your body signaling poor rest and incomplete muscle healing. The good news? These early warnings are reversible if you catch them in time. With better sleep positioning, improved evening habits, and smarter hydration, many seniors start to feel stronger within days. Your body wants to heal. It just needs the right environment. In our final section, we'll bring it all together: the science, the habits, and the hope. And I'll show you why it's never too late to rebuild strength, sleep smarter, and protect your body every single night. Because you deserve to wake up not just rested, but restored. By the time most seniors realize they're losing muscle, it's already changed their life. Walking becomes harder. Getting up from a chair takes effort. A simple stumble becomes a serious fall. And all too often they blame it on age. I guess I'm just getting old. But you and I now know the truth. Much of this loss isn't just age, it's neglect. Not willful neglect, but silent, unknowing neglect. The kind that happens in the dark, while you're asleep, when your body needed restoration and instead got restriction. But here's the part no one tells you. You can reverse it. Your muscles may be aging, but they are still listening. They are still responding. Even now, in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, your body is waiting for the signal to rebuild. And the most powerful signal you can send? Alignment, blood flow, restorative sleep. Sleep is not a shutdown, it's a construction site. And when you position your body with care, when you feed it what it needs before bed, when you avoid the silent saboteurs like poor posture, dehydration, and sugar, that construction crew shows up ready to work. I've seen it happen. A 78-year-old widow who couldn't get off the toilet without help, 3 months later walking up her stairs without holding the rail. A 72-year-old veteran who gave up golf because of morning stiffness, now playing 18 holes twice a week. A 65-year-old woman who thought she was developing Parkinson's, turns out it was a sleep-induced circulation issue. Once she adjusted her position and nighttime habits, her tremors disappeared. This is what real healing looks like. It's not flashy, it's not expensive, it's not overnight, it's consistent, quiet, and powerful. You don't need a miracle drug or a fancy mattress. You need to start tonight. Lie on your back, support your knees, take a sip of water, turn off the screens. Give your muscles the message, I'm here to help you recover. Because here's the thing, you are not powerless. You are not past the point of progress. You are simply waiting for the truth. And now, you have it. So what will you do tonight? Will you keep curling up in the position that's been quietly stealing your strength? Or will you honor your body by giving it the sleep it deserves? Every choice you make, every posture, every sip of water, every bite before bed, it all adds up. Not just to stronger muscles, but to a stronger life. Because the ability to rise from a chair unassisted, to lift your grandchild, to carry your own groceries, to live without fear of falling, that's freedom. And freedom is worth fighting for. So tonight, make that fight quiet, gentle, and healing. Rebuild your strength. One breath, one position, one night at a time.